My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depths without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful good evening, and joining us here tonight for Brandon's discovery session. And first of all, a heartfelt welcome to everyone, and the beautiful little messages coming from a very, very international audience. So I've been just sitting here really kind of being absolutely amazed by all the countries that are coming in, all the way from up north, Scandinavia, Finland and Sweden and Norway, and going all the way across to America, and then coming back to Ireland, UK, Netherlands, Germany, kind of a cross section of all across Europe, really, going also as far east to India. And what else have I got? Dubai. We've got Dubai here, and Austria, so a country from folk from home. I'm actually Austrian, but I have lived in English-speaking countries for a huge part of my life. Then there is Belgium and Spain coming in, Australia too. So welcome everybody. Munich, Canada, goodness gracious. What a beautiful gift to have so many of you here and such a beautiful international audience. Macedonia, I also saw some Greek writing. So I'm actually sitting in Greece in beautiful blue sky, sunny weather. Still a little bit chilly here, but it's only just April. So wherever you are, I hope it's a beautiful day, and Romania is calling in too, so amazing. And also a huge thank you to all of you who have written in to Brandon with your challenges on this month's theme. Now I have to express an apology first of all, because Brandon had a fall yesterday evening and she hurt her wrist quite badly, and she's still a little bit, I know it's only just the wrist, but she's quite traumatized, and she didn't feel that she was capable of coming on live today. So we have actually prepared a recording with the session that covers the theme that covered the from chaos to calm and nurturing ourselves to wholeness. So please accept my sincere apologies. And I will be addressing, I have read all of your challenges today, and I will be addressing if there are some things still not covered by the end of today's session. I will individually address this, and please also always feel free to write into our support team. My name, sorry, I'm probably an absolute stranger to you. My name is Gabby Burt. I'm an international director for The Journey and have been with Brandon since the early days, since 1996. So my time here with Brandon is coming close up to 30 years. I've been with her around the world at live seminars, at book launches, at everything that we can possibly think of. And naturally also in the wake of COVID with all the online seminars. So it's been one of the hugest privileges in my life to be alongside Brandon and also to be part of a healing method that has made such a huge difference to thousands and thousands and thousands of people's lives. And so I can always speak from my personal experience of what I have seen, what firstly I have experienced on myself, and what I have witnessed around the world, no matter what culture, no matter what country, no matter what age, no matter what gender, it doesn't matter. It's the journey is a method that brings us home, first of all. And once we come home, healing becomes a natural side effect, which is a very, very welcome and beautiful side effect. So for today's session, and I'm really thrilled and delighted that we have so many of you here, I'm asking you to stay on for this full session. I'm sure you will hear things and learn things that are new for you or something that you can take on board already. Brandon is also doing an introspection, a guided meditation and introspection that you can undergo and uncover some of the things that have been holding you back. So it's a beautiful entry and first step to journey work and how you can adapt it and implement it in your life. And we will, at the end of it, I will reveal a beautiful offer that we have on at the moment for our upcoming events. And not only that, but we will also draw a lottery and announce the name of a winner for a free place at one of our upcoming journey events. So thank you for all your blessings for Brandon. She's actually at the doctor tonight and having had an x-ray to make sure there wasn't anything major. I think she's coming out in sympathy with me because I actually physically broke my wrist 2 weeks ago and have the scar to show for it and a beautiful metal plate in it. I was on a skiing holiday. So when that happened yesterday, I said, oh my God, I said, I hope you're not coming out in sympathy with me. But she doesn't think she's broken anything, but she really just needs to check that everything is in the right place. And she's still a bit traumatized. She took quite a bad fall, a whole fall. And so she just didn't feel that she was in the right place to be in a live session tonight. So thank you for your blessing. Thank you for your well wishes. And I'm sure she will feel that. And thank you for understanding most of all. So without further ado, let's bring Brandon here and let her talk. The theme is all about overwhelm. It's about anxiety. It's about stress. It's about fear. It's how we can move from chaos to calm, how we can kind of nurture ourselves into well-being. And I'll be here at the end of the session and tell you a little bit more about everything. So thank you with all my heart. Namaste.
And a heartfelt welcome to everyone here. And I'm just so moved by all the different messages you sent in of the challenges you're facing right now. And it's such a topic I think that everyone can relate to about the stress and the worry, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the burnout. And each of us is experiencing that stress and that burnout and that overwhelm differently. And from different life circumstances. There was one woman who was sharing that she'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she had a sense that there was trauma underlying it, and wondered how she could go about exploring and getting to the root of that trauma, and that perhaps some of it might even be inherited. And what's so interesting about the different ways that stress manifests in our lives is there's a lot of science about the effect that stress, trauma, extreme emotional issues, when we have no coping skills, what happens is science will tell us that when we're at the height of an emotion and we shut it down, I mean, no one gave us a manual how to cope with that emotion. And so at the height of some stressful situation, we shut down. And at that moment of shutdown, a quantifiable biochemistry goes into our body, going to specific cellular locations. And that old emotional issue that gets buried inside that cell. And when that cell generation in that area of the body, when that cell generation dies, this same programming, this stress, this emotion, all that took place in the circumstances, all the unmet pain, it gets passed on to the next cell generation. And so the next cell generation carries the exact same programming as the previous cell generation. And I can remember when I got diagnosed with a basketball-sized tumor, the first thing that the surgeon said to me was it probably started as one cell when you were 8 years old, and then that cell replicated. And over time, it replicated, and then towards the last few months, it started replicating exponentially and aggressively. And I, had a tumor the size of a basketball. And so this programming gets passed on from one cell generation to the next. And part of the gift of my own healing, and it's over 30 years ago that this took place, was I found a method for all of us to go on a journey inside our bodies to specific cellular locations to uncover what is stored there, the cell memories there, the buried pain, the old trauma, the stress, the anxiety, all of what we couldn't say at the time when we froze. And to go through a deep process of release and letting go and ultimately understanding of what took place with you at that time in your life, and then ultimately forgiveness. So when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And in my case, it was a 6.5 week radical life-changing journey. And yet in that time, I underwent what I would now call a journey process 3 times and really got to various cell memories. And it took 6.5 weeks, but I ended up in hospital. And they took, about 45 scans of my uterus, and they could find no evidence of a tumor there. I was textbook perfect clean. So originally, the journey started being used in cancer centers and by medical hospitals and doctors. And right now, speaking about, medical doctors using it, for the woman who spoke about, she sensed it was trauma that might be the underlying cause. She didn't know that it was. Or it might be inherited. And there's there's 3 hospitals in Israel right now who are using the journey. Let's say you are in the hospital that specializes in cancer research and oncology. And after you've received your medical treatment, you go through a week long in their recovery center. And at the root of the recovery center teachings is the journey, where you actually uncover what co-created the illness in the first place. You get to the emotional root cause. They're actually doing a documentary on what's taking place. And they found that the root of many of these illnesses, they have also another hospital that for heart disease, and the same thing, that they're finding that trauma is often the root cause of what is co-creating the illness in the first place. Another woman wrote in about how she has multiple sclerosis and it's really limited her ability to walk and be mobile. And she longs to be free, at least for the next 15 years of her life. And yes, they're in multiple sclerosis in this hospital that uses it. They're getting huge results, where in the cancer hospital, they're finding that it's not returning. It's not metastasizing. In the one with multiple sclerosis, they're finding people are regaining their mobility again. And so it really opens the door for us to all of us recognize the effect that anxiety, stress, trauma, burnout, overwhelm is having in our lives. And there was one woman who spoke more about the emotional aspect, where she was saying that she felt that she has all this, she's not able to emotionally express herself. And that when she gets angry or upset about something, she can't release it. And she gets home where it's a safe environment where she could release it. And somehow she can't. She doesn't have the method or an ability to let go of this anger. And so it lingers for days and weeks. And so none of us, the truth is, none of us were given a manual. How do you deal with these circumstances in life? One woman was sharing about how she feels that she needs to release her not enoughness, that she's not special enough. She's not productive enough. She's not attractive enough. She's not competent enough, and on and on. And many of the people sharing have said that they feel frozen. One woman was saying that she longs for a partner in her life, but she has been a failure, absolute failure when it comes to relationships. And she feels so defeated by it. And she has such a longing to have a family, to get pregnant, to have children, to lead what she called a normal life. And yet she just feels frozen. Those are her exact words. I feel frozen. And that is exactly what happens. In her particular case, it is likely that something took place in one or several of her relationships where she didn't have the coping skill. And like all of us, when a big trauma happens, and a trauma can be something as simple as someone shouting at you and telling you you're worthless, where we don't know how to respond to that. And what do? We freeze. And the shutdown happens. The biochemistry released, and it's stored in our cells, and then that pattern gets stored on and on again. So every time she's in a relationship, she's freezing. And of course she can't attract someone in a relationship because she's always getting a triggered response. So all of us have had different issues. One woman wrote in about abandonment, and they go on and on. And it's like the person who's in, let's say, an auto accident. And what happens is someone cuts you off. And out of nowhere comes this rage. Now that person didn't come in the middle of the night and stick rage inside of you. That rage was already there. And all the person who cut you off in traffic did was they triggered a knee-jerk reaction. And the rage that was buried already inside of you came roaring up to the surface. So all of us have these triggered responses. There's one woman who was saying that she did the journey some months ago and actually healed from an illness. But now she's feeling so frustrated because she's struggling with negative thoughts. And that's because those negative thoughts are stored inside the body, and life is triggering her, and they're coming up, this conditioned pattern. Yet another woman was saying she feels like she's gone after so many issues in her life, and yet she feels frustrated because she's constantly procrastinating writing this book on science and healing that she wants to write. And she just can't get past it. Another woman was writing in about her, and so I would call that writer's block, where she's literally being shut down by a triggered response inside. Another woman was saying every time she stresses, she's reaching for some sugar. And she knows it's not good for her, but she can't help it. She keeps reaching for sugar. So all of us have different responses to stress. And what I'd like to do before we go deeper into this is to invite you to acknowledge that that's true in your life, that you have triggered responses to stress. And we're just going to do a little mini process here because we think it's about someone said something. And when they said it, we froze, or we shut down, or we lashed out, or we withdrew. We had some unhealthy, triggered response to some sort of circumstantial stress. And we think it's about our response. But interestingly enough, what I discovered and what with the hundreds of thousands of people who have gone through the journey over the years have discovered, it's never about the surface response. It's always about a much deeper emotional issue that you did not have the ability to allow yourself to feel, that you would do anything to shut it away. And so before we begin diving into some deeper teaching and some deeper process work, I'd like us to just begin to explore what are those deeper emotions that are triggering my stress response? Because all of us have a lot of stress happening right now. Climate change, the world catastrophes happening, the wars going on, the political divisiveness going on around the world, the COVID just happening, the pandemic, the loss of jobs, families, loved ones, on and on. There's a lot of circumstantial stress out there where we would point to, that is what's causing my stress. But that's not what we've discovered and what science has discovered. Those circumstances aren't the root of your distress. All that is happening is they're triggering the emotion that's already buried inside of you. So why don't we do a little divine experiment here? And let's just play along. You have nothing to lose but some old baggage and everything to gain by discovering what's really causing me to respond unhealthily to my external circumstances. So if you'd like to join me, let's first of all take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and let's close our eyes for a moment and just let your awareness drift back to a recent time in the last days, weeks, maybe months, where something took place externally, where you had an unhealthy response, something stressful, upsetting, traumatic, and you either lashed out at that person or that circumstance. You may have shut down, you may have withdrawn, you may have frozen, incapable of responding. So let your awareness drift to an actual recent time where you know that something took place where you had an unhealthy response. And go right to that exact memory. and really step into it and go to the moment when you reacted unhealthily. You shouted out at them, maybe you shut down, maybe you ran away and withdrew from the situation, maybe you froze. Go to that exact moment where something took place and you had an unhealthy reaction, and go right into the moment of your reaction and just open with and feel what you were feeling at the time of the reaction. Just that feeling. And now roll the cameras back to just the millisecond before you reacted. There was this impulse to react in the way that you did. So it's just a millisecond before. There was an impulse to react exactly the way you did. And now roll the cameras back even just a millisecond before that and open up, kind of stretch time here and ask, what was I really feeling before I reacted in that way? What was I really feeling? What really is the feeling here before I defended against or shut down or withdrew? What was the real feeling that was here? And just feel yourself opening with that feeling and just allowing it. You don't have to do anything with it, just allowing it and asking if there were an even deeper feeling beneath this more surface emotion. I wonder what that feeling might be. If there were an even deeper feeling, what might that feeling be? Just softly feeling yourself opening with whatever's showing up, with whatever feeling is here. And opening even deeper. If there were an even deeper emotion beneath that emotion, I wonder what that feeling might be. And just opening with that. And speaking that feeling out into your room. Just allowing it, embracing it. You don't have to do anything with it. Just being aware of it is the beginning. Taking a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and now opening your eyes. And if you just, I know it was just a little tiny experiment that we did there, but if you were very honest with yourself, there was the response. That was one feeling. But when you rolled the cameras back, there was a different feeling at the surface. And when you opened, there were even deeper feelings that were deeper but kind of buried inside. And so very often, the reason we don't know what's causing our surface stress response is because we've been too afraid to open with the emotion that's there prior to our triggered reaction. And in the journey, what I learned is that with the journey, you really get to the emotional root cause of what has co-created your surface responses. And if I had to say, what is the journey in a metaphor? The best way I could describe it to you is to say that we, all of us, come into this life as this radiant, shining, vast field of love, of oneness. And this enlightened awareness that we came in as, this freedom, this love, this infinite divine potential, it gets covered over. And science has said that when you are newly born, and in the first days and weeks of your life as an infant, you come in and feel yourself to be an awareness that is omnipresent, that is part of and in everything, a field of love, of peace, of presence. And when mother's hand comes before your eyes, the infant actually feels mother's hand as part of itself. That's how vast this spacious, infinite field is. But unfortunately, through the course of life's pains and trials, the natural things that we as human beings go through, this radiant love that is our essence, it gets covered over with a series of traumas, shutdowns, pain, limitations, blocks. And it could be something simple like you're 3 years old and you're crying about something. And your mother says to you, come, we've got to get off to nursery school. Let's dry your tears. We've got to get going. And the 3-year-old gets it. Oh, I'm not allowed to feel, at least not the ones with the tears. And the first involuntary, automatic shutdown happens. And when you start shutting down one emotion, you start shutting down all the emotions, not just the one with the tears. Or it can be something simple. I can remember I came from a very domestically challenged household, and the way that I used to escape was into my children's books. And obviously, loving reading as much as I did, I became a good reader and a good speller. And when I was 8 years old in 3rd grade, all the elementary schools in the whole county got together in this big stadium, and there were all the teachers and students and all the parents from all the schools all came together, and I had been selected among all the 3rd graders to represent our school in a spelling bee. And I'll never forget this. I was standing on stage and I'd spelled already 3 difficult words. And they gave to me one of the easiest words in the English language, the word fleet. But I'd never seen the word fleet in any of my children's books. But I had seen the word flea, an insect. And I stood there and I said, F-L-E-A-T. And the whole audience was hushed. And all at once, it erupted into laughter. Now, no one had given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of all your friends and parents and teachers? And I looked to my mom, who was sitting in the 3rd row, for support. And she looked at me as if I was the greatest disappointment in her life. And she just shook her head and went, and internally, it was as if this big wall just came slamming down inside. And I retreated to the back of the stage where the other losers were. And that day I decided, I'm just so stupid that people will only ever laugh at me. I'll never be good at anything I do. I'll never succeed. I'm just a laughing stock. And it's like this, layer upon layer of shutdowns combined with these negative self-beliefs. I can remember I was 16 years old and I got my first crush on this boy, and I tried to impress him. And of course, you know how that went. And I made a total out and out fool of myself. And I watched the first love of my life running out of my life, and I was running after him. And that day, I decided I'm just so unattractive. I'll never attract someone I'm genuinely attracted to. I'm just not worthy of love. Layer upon layer. And then when we get to be adults, we cover this whole mess over with all these blocks and limitations and lies that we've sold ourselves. We cover it all over with this polished veneer, this mask that we present to the world. And we wonder why it is everyone thinks we're so full of. And you can finish that sentence. And then if you get to be very lucky, as I have been more lucky than I could possibly thank Grace, life, the universe for, life gives you a wake-up call. And these wake-up calls can come in so many forms. In the form of a loss of a loved one, in the form of a trauma, in the form of a war, a divorce. In my case, it came in the form of a serious illness, where for once you decide to break through this mask that you've been presenting to the world and get real. And you decide to open with what's really here inside. And you find yourself spontaneously going through the lies, the layers of the shutdowns, the limitations, the negative self-beliefs, the pain. And spontaneously, you end up opening into this vast field of love, of peace, this enlightened awareness that you came in as. Only you realize it's been there all along, but like me, you bought into all the layers that covered it. And then if you get to be really lucky, you fall so in love with your own essence that, like me, you'll do anything to clear whatever blocks you, whatever holds you back, whatever's shutting you down. And so with the journey, we let go these masks that we're putting on, and we end up diving down through all the layers of the pain and shutdown and trauma and opening into this infinite intelligence, this part of you that makes your heart beat and your eyes shine. And you're guided by your own soul, by this infinite intelligence, to cellular locations to uncover what's stored there, the cell memory, the pain, all the trauma, the stress, and you go through a deep process of releasing what's there, experiencing, letting go, coming to a place of understanding and acceptance of what has taken place, and ultimately forgiveness. So that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. Now, as much as I would love to take you on a full journey, I can't tonight or this morning, wherever you are, because it's part of a 3-day deep immersion at the Journey Intensive, where you're getting not only the teachings, but you're getting a chance to process with other people and go through the emotional journey and physical journeys and learn all the advanced skills. And it's a deeply immersive experience of really rolling up your sleeves and diving in. And so even though I cannot give you this liberating and freeing full 3-day teaching in one session, I can at least help you begin your journey to really befriend your body, to begin this process of inner listening, to welcoming and opening with what's stored inside. And one of the things I've learned is the body will never give you something you are not ready to face. So if it shows up, it means you're ready. And so I'd like to right now take us into a little guided introspection where we can learn how to befriend our body, befriend our emotions, beginning to open with what our body is trying to tell us. What is the real cause of this external stress happening in our life? So if once again you'd like to join me, let's take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and closing the eyes once again, and just letting your whole body and your being soften and relax now, taking in a breath of openness and blowing that into your room. And the willingness to really stay open to uncover whatever your body is ready to reveal. Breathing that willingness into the room. And trust in yourself, in your soul's desire for you to come home, to be free, to heal, trusting in yourself and in life and in grace. Breathing trust into the room. And letting your heart be as wide as the world. A vast, open sky of all acceptance. That's how vast this is. And it's spacious and infinite and vast in front of you. Free and spacious to all sides of you. It's infinite behind. Boundless below. Sky like above. Vast, open sky of all acceptance. And welcoming into this field of awareness, acceptance, all the feelings that live inside of you. That's how vast this field is. You can welcome all the feelings that live here. And now let's turn our gaze inside the body. And you already know this body of ours is like a container full of all kinds of emotions. And some of our feelings, they're like little kids, Some are loud and attention-seeking, always trying to get our attention. Others of our emotions, they're shy and they're scared. And some of your feelings, you've rejected them so many times that they're scared of you. They hide behind closed doors or underneath lids, and they don't come up anymore. And so welcoming all the feelings that live inside of you and just saying you're sorry that in the past you weren't willing to be wholly present to them. And that for this process, you're going to allow whatever's here to be felt. And now, turning the gaze inside the body and finding an area of your body that may feel a little tension or stress or holding or contraction. Some area that feels somehow contracted in somewhere, in some way. Locate that area right now. And taking a deep breath in of openness. And now flood that area with openness and acceptance. Just marinating that area, flooding it with your acceptance, tenderizing it, feeling like it's open, and if there were an emotion beginning to arise out of that part of the body, What might that feeling be? It might be as quiet as a whisper because it might not trust you yet. But if there was a feeling starting to arise, what might that feeling be? Or if this part of your body could speak and had words, what would it say right now? Give it a voice. What would it say? Just listening to the words. And as you listen, how do the words make you feel emotionally? Or perhaps a picture is showing up. There may or may not be one, but if there is one, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or perhaps you've put a lid over this area and shut it down. And you know how you open a can of peanuts by peeling back the lid? Well, take hold of this lid right now and lift it off. What's hiding there? Just welcoming whatever's here and also whatever's not here. And taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding that area with acceptance. And now come to neutral and finding a different part of your body where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or some sort of contraction going on. Locate that area right now. Taking in a deep breath of acceptance and flooding that part of your body with acceptance. Letting it be softened and marinated and tenderized and opened. And if there were a feeling beginning to arise out of that area, what might that feeling be? Might not be at all what you're expecting. Might be quiet as a whisper. If there were a feeling just starting to arise now, what might that feeling be? Or if this area could speak and had words, what would it say right now? And as you listen to the words, how do they make you feel emotionally? Or perhaps a picture showing up. If a picture is showing up, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or perhaps you have put a lid over it all. And taking hold of that lid and lifting it off. What's hiding here? What is the feeling? Just welcoming whatever's here. And also whatever's not here. And taking in a deep breath in of acceptance. And flooding that area with acceptance. And come to neutral. And you might want to, if it feels appropriate, say to your body that you're going to begin this journey of being present to yourself, of listening to what the body, the heart, and your being is trying to communicate to you, of wholly embracing whatever's showing up with acceptance and allowing whatever is here to give rise to itself. So if it feels appropriate, you can make a promise to start this journey of being present to your own self and listening. Taking a nice deep breath in and letting it out. And once again, aware of the awareness that's vast, spacious, free and endless in front of you. Boundlessly spacious and free behind, and infinitely spacious to all sides. Nice deep breath in. Letting it out. And you can open your eyes now into this presence that's here. You can open your eyes now. And let's take another nice deep breath in. And sigh it out. And if the eyes have not yet opened, this is your invitation to open your eyes now. Now, this was just a little toe dip of what it is to begin this process of listening to yourself, opening with yourself. And still, some of you may have been so innocent and open that you uncovered some deep emotions here. So if you're willing to put into the chat box some of what arose for you, I'll ask Yolana to share that with everyone. But while you're writing in the chat box some of the deeper issues that arose for you, these issues are stored in our bodies. And I feel that you came here because not I or not the journey, but your soul said to you, it's time now to come home. It's time now to realize who you really are inside. It's time now to heal your life. And my prayer is that we go on our journeys now before it ends up as illness down the line. It's not my prayer that we wait until multiple sclerosis is here and cancer is here, that we instead give ourselves our wake-up call now so that it doesn't end up showing up. Stress, anxiety, fear, trauma, overwhelm, burnout, these are taking a big toll on our emotional life, our mental life, and our physical life. And I feel that there is an invitation from our own hearts, our own beings, that it's time to roll up your sleeves, to dive in and do the work necessary to begin this process of listening. And I really do feel that it is your soul that is saying, it's time to come home. It's time to heal. It's time to clear these emotional blocks, these buried issues that have been driving my life, my whole life long. It's time to finish them. It's time to become free and whole and home. And so with all my heart, I hope you find it in your schedule, by hook or by crook, you find your way to a journey intensive, which is now happening online. It used to only happen when I came to your country, and we traveled to 39 countries around the world. But once COVID happened, we had to begin offering this very deeply liberating work online. And so it's bound to be happening on your time zone coming up over the next few months. And so I really welcome you to investigate what's your heart's pull, what's right for you. Are you ready to finally find some peace and wholeness and come home to yourself? And so I'm going to turn this over to Yolana, and she can share with you what's happening around the world and do the little lottery so that you can, someone's going to win a free place to the Journey Intensive online, which I feel for all of you will be life-changing. I know for me, while I was on tour over those last 26 years before the COVID started, I was on tour 44 weeks out of the year. And in every week I was in a different country or a different city. And yet, for those 44 weeks, I got a journey process every week. I never wanted to be so arrogant as to say I've got it all handled. I know there's more than one issue stored inside of me, and I feel it's a privilege to clear whatever holds me back, whatever shuts me down, whatever on any level of being has kept the divine potential from fully living itself. And so I'll be a student of life and a student of the journey till the day I die. And so I feel it's all an invitation for all of us to begin our journey, and that you discover the infinite grace, the love that is your essence. So I thank you with all my heart. I'm sorry this session couldn't be all of the journey teachings, but I did as much as I could in a short time, and I pass you over to Yolana.
Well, thank you very, very much. I'm obviously not Yolana, and when we recorded this session with Brandon, it was Yolana who did this me part. And what I've noticed is that many of the challenges that Brandon was referring to at the beginning were not that dissimilar to some of the challenges that we received from people this time round. And there were some added ones that didn't show up then, and yet somehow I hope that by kind of winding the camera back, becoming aware that there is already an underlying issue running that just gets triggered through whatever issues you have, which may be part of relationship or abusive relationships or an overwhelming life or grief or some of the issues that are going on in your life. And so as these things running underneath, we can't heal. And in Brandon's work, in the journey work, what we do become aware of is how we put our emotions away and leave them unaddressed. And yet the emotions are the gateway to the soul every time. So all of the things that you've uncovered here, and I took notes so I don't have to scroll backwards and forwards, is anxiety, fear of life, tears, anger, deep disappointment, sorrow. Then beneath the sorrow was anger, overwhelm, unloved, rejection, hiding, grief, self-criticism, disgust, abandonment, empty, hollow, sad, not valued or accepted, so on and on and on. And these are the kind of emotions that we store away inside of our body. And what we learn at the Journey Intensive and what we become aware of is that these things are really here, and that we don't have to live in fear of them, that we don't have to hide them away, that we can actually address them. And by addressing them, we open into an infinite field of wisdom, into an infinite field of unconditional love. And from here, we can start healing the issues, which may not very much be associated with the things that are upsetting you here and now today, which may go all the way back to childhood, to teenagehood, to so many times in many, many years ago. And this is what I have seen over and over again. And when we clear the issues out from the back, it's like we're cleaning out something from consciousness. The issues that are really bothering us today can also start disappearing. And that is really the cause. It's almost like life is triggering us over and over and over until we find the way of dealing with the issues. And the journey is a method that deals with the issue, clears them out at the root cause from the past, and we can start afresh. And then the challenges that you have shared with us, that you have written in, become something that you can heal. You can really heal and start afresh. And I know that some people have written, you know, some of you have issues with your grown-up children and you're in your 60s or 70s. And even then, it is possible to heal these issues, no matter what age you are, whether you're young, whether you are middle-aged, or whether you are more mature, it doesn't matter. These issues are there to be cleared out and to be healed. So this is an invitation. We have a beautiful event coming up in all parts of the world in the next few months. We have the very next one in Europe on 3rd to 5th of May. Olga, or Chris, can you show the slide, please? So we've got the dates there while I'm talking, which is absolutely perfect. So from 3rd to 5th of May, we have the Next Journey Intensive in Europe. From 17th to the 19th of May, we have the Journey Intensive in North America. And from the 26th to the 28th of July in Australia. And when I say in Europe, in North America, in Australia, I mean the time zone. It is not limited to any particular town. It just means we are gearing it up to the time zone of that particular part of the world. So we're doing the Americas, we're doing Europe, and we're doing Australia so that everybody can participate. We're also offering Hebrew translation here today, which means there is a journey event coming up in Israel very shortly in Hebrew language with Brandon's teachings translated into Hebrew, and the same in Germany. So we're also translating into German today, and which means Bettina Halifax is offering a journey intensive in German, and Brandon is how do you call it? Can't think of automatically translated while she's speaking. So these events are coming up soon. We have them ongoingly. And for this next one, we still have a discount code, which is valid until the 21st of April. And that means you get 50 euros off. And that code, you need to put a promotions code in when you book, is called HEAL25, HEAL 25. And the price automatically reduces by 50 euros. Now, the whole event is a 2-day event with a free bonus day. So over 3 days where you really learn the tools of the journey, where you dive in, where you start clearing some of the root causes, the root issues. But not only that, all of what we learn on that weekend stays with you. This is something that you can continue to use for the rest of your life. And it's not that life changes on the outside. We can't change what is. We can't change the catastrophes, the disasters, the politics, the wars, or whatever is happening. But what is happening is our internal perspective on how we're responding and reacting to life on the inside. And when we clear these issues out, more of the truth of who we are, this profound presence of unconditional love, is what is available. And then kind of our community, the love, the people around us, the loved ones in our life, are with a presence that is loving, that is at peace, rather than anxious and fearful and angry and all of those. So that's the beauty of what we're bringing into our families, what we sharing with our loved ones, with our children. And there's a huge change possible, because when you can change, the people around you can change too. So also the full price, I was going to say, even the full price is very affordable. So 197 euros for this 3-day event is a minimal investment for the huge amount that you are taking away. What you do need is time. You just need those 2 days to make sure you give yourself 2 days to adopt those teachings in your life. And until the 21st of April, which is for another week yet, we have the discount code HEAL25, and you get another 50 euros off. So it's a true bargain for happiness, a true bargain for approaching life very, very differently. And we also said that we would have a winner here. And I'm just checking, because this is something I can't do while I'm doing things. and talking. So my colleague is choosing from the people who are here today. And we have a winner here for today, and it is Wendy Phillips. Wendy Phillips from South Africa, huge congratulations. You are chosen randomly from the people who are who have come on early in the session and who stayed with us. And as a gift, there is always a winner at these sessions. So Wendy Phillips, you are winner of the Next Journey Intensive. If you can't make that one, you have the option of passing it on to a friend of yours or join us at the next one. So whatever works for you, you are most welcome. And on that note, I would love to welcome back some of our dear Journey communities who have left those beautiful testimonials at the beginning, and we have a few more at the end. These are people who have come with major problems in their life, with major illnesses, with major upsets and unhappiness or depression, or really searching for something in life that gives meaning and purpose, and they have all found it. And not only those few who you hear speaking, but so have hundreds of thousands of people also. So if you are here today, trust that something in your heart or your soul brought you here, and that you find the courage to reserve 2 days in your life and come and join us. The third day is optional, and 80% of the people stay for the third day because there's some additional tools that we're learning. And you can also do it in your own time. So you don't have to take 3 full days, but we want Saturday and Sunday. And then there is no, I think the North American one is midweek, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I leave those dates and days with you. You have the link for our Journey Intensive page, and I would love to see you as time goes on, and maybe at one of the Journey Intensives or another one of these sessions. And yes, there is a recording of this workshop, and we'll send it to everyone who has registered. So thank you with all my heart. You can go through the meditation with Brandon again if you want to get more clear. But just remember that no matter what emotion shows up, whether that is fear, anger, rage, overwhelm, something you feel like you can never deal with, just really hear this. In the heart of these emotions that we've avoided for so much of our life, and the very heart of it is a presence that is infinite, that is love, that is freedom, that is everything. And we are that, you are that. And there is a way that you can live from this presence in every moment. And the invitation is yours. All you need to do is just come and join us at one of those weekends. It's too much to do in an hour session, but on a weekend, 2 days is nothing. So take the time, gift it to yourself to take this into your life. And on that note, I finally say goodbye and thank you with all my heart for joining us today. And I hope we meet again. Thank you so much. Namaste and goodbye. Good evening, good morning, wherever in the world you are. Thank you.
My biggest win with the journey was being able to access my deepest emotions and free myself from them. I feel more calm and serene.
I found my true calling, and now today I can help others. I love to make an impact. I love to see transformation in others' lives.
For years and years, I used to feel very lonely, and now I just feel a part of everything. I feel I'm alive.
My biggest win with joining the practitioner program is owning my own life back and stepping out of a severe PTSD.
The acceptance of myself and the self-love, so I don't need others to love me. That's perfectly okay.
Life is different now because of joining the journey, because
I just live in so much abundance. You know, I get up every day with a joy for living. I want to go to work. I want to meet other people.
My biggest win was the really deep knowing I actually do have the answers. They are within me.
There is a lot more certainty and openness into where I'm heading and how I'm feeling about things.
I feel more connected to life. It's not an easy path for anyone to do healing work, but it's profound.
One, I'm more balanced. Two, I'm more grateful for those persons who helped me in this life. I enrich my life every day with this wisdom.
It's priceless. There's no better, bigger investment we can do in time, money, or energy.
I was a mess before I started with this work, and I healed from lots of different types of abuse, and that's a miracle.
My life now, because of the journey, is transformed. I have confidence. Even if I struggle, it's just I have to let go. It's step after step, and it's no danger at the end.
My biggest win is myself. It doesn't have to be anything else. You can be fulfilled even if you only have yourself.
It's more peaceful. I've learned to process emotions. I learned to be more self-aware, and I've learned when you need to ask for help.
I've been able to have a really deep, long, soulful look at myself, and I've been able to uncover, recover, and heal long-term wounds.
My biggest win being a journey practitioner has been becoming a therapist and a healer, because that's what I never ever imagined it to be.
I'm living from a place of freedom and choice. I'm really conscious in every moment. Any sentence I say, it's coming from just pure goodness.
I feel more authentic, wearing much less of a mask. It's about being you and feeling good about it.
I can embrace all that is. I'm here to share my life, my joy. Now I can just be me.
My own journey of healing from cancer is an inspiration for others. I get to work with amazing people, see amazing transformations in their life.
My biggest win is to be yourself. Just be there for other people, to help other people heal, and just to be there.
I know that no matter what comes, I have the right instrument to deal with whatever emotions every situation will bring to me.
It really has helped me come back to a place of wholeness. I feel like completely authentic. I feel genuine. I feel like I'm in my body.
My big win is my courage and my physical healing, my emotional healing. But in one word, I could say freedom.
The journey is all about releasing all of the emotions that create the illness. I was healed physically within 6 weeks, while I had been in pain over 3.5 years.